right. Well, let me go ahead and get started here. Welcome to the Football History Football Simulator live stream. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the the simulator itself. Some of its features. And also what we plan to do with it later on. This is a coaching simulator. I just want to let you know that this is a coaching simulator, and we will be making a video game from this. As a matter of fact, we already have all the components for that video game, and it's pretty much there. We just have to put all the pieces together so we can construct this. This has been a long time coming. We've had this in the making for many years, as some of you may know that are not new to this channel. And we have been working on this for a while, and now we've got it in the Steam store. You guys can go out there and pick it up. It's in the Steam store, and I believe we have it in there for $39.99. And if you guys can go out there, support us, I'd really appreciate that. There's a lot of things you can do with this simulator, which are going to be features that you can do with the game as well. So, got a lot going on there, and I want to give some more people a little chance to get in here. And so the main thing about the simulator that's so unique is that you can actually create your own plays with the simulator. This is something that you'll be able to do with the game as well. It's going to be a pretty unique game as well, because you can create your own plays. You can run those plays in a live environment against a virtual opponent. You can do it in 2D and 3D. The 3D is optimized for pretty much looking like a video game, and it has a lot of those features which we're actually carrying into the video game, and that's one thing that we've been. That's why we made this simulator the way it is, and so it's going to be carried. All the things that you see here are going to be carried in all over into the video game. We have in there, the formation, the playbooks, the play designer, as you can see some of the things coming up here, the play designer. This is the formation creator in the background there, where we're going to have, we do have within the simulator about 37 formations in there right now. And you can, take these formations and modify them any way that you want. And you can also spread the players apart in many different types of ways. You can spread them a yard apart, 6 inches apart. You can spread them, even a foot apart. And so we have the dynamics built in there, so you can actually, really kind of hone in on how you want your players to look. You can also place the players on the hash marks, different hash marks, as some formations are that way as well. So that's a good feature that we have there. But the best feature that we have is basically, being able to go in and really be creative with your plays, because we do have to support different styles of play. Like, for instance, in some leagues, you have dual forward passes that you can execute. And all different types of things like that. We have a lot of those types of things that you can do within the simulator, and it gives you just the flexibility to really move forward with whatever it is that you want to do in there. And so for a football person, even if you don't, even if you play Madden a little bit or games like that, this would be a good tool to help you understand football and formations and how they work and all of that good stuff. We have, the customization in here. I mean, it's second to none with our customization, because you can actually go through and really be creative in teams that you create. You can bring in your own logos. We've made this really easy to customize. You can bring in your own logos, or you can bring in or use the logos that we've provided. We have about 40 logos in there that we've provided with the simulator, and that's 40 logos that you have to work with. And then, of course, you can bring your own custom logos in, and you don't have to be an artist to do that. All you have to do is, if you're not an artist, you can get somebody to do for Photoshop or Corel Draw for you and make PNG files. Is really all you need to do, is be able to save and make a PNG file. And once you do that, you know, you can pretty much bring in whatever you want and put it on a helmet. There's three sides of the helmet you can put it on. You can put it on both sides of the helmet. You can put it on the front padding of the helmet. You can put the logo on the left side, the right side, however you want to do it. It's very, very flexible with the customization. So we urge you to go out and take a look at what we've got to offer, our offering with the simulator, because the game is going to be pretty much like that as well. And so we have a lot of different um, plays in there as well. I think there is about 37 offensive plays and 27 defensive plays in there. Of course, as I mentioned, you can modify these plays any way that you want, and you can create your own from scratch. And that's the real good thing about how we've got this set up. Creating the plays is really, really easy. And so, we'd like to, get the coaches involved here. If you're a football coach, this is something that you really want to take a look at, because it's really easy to diagram plays and create them. And so, this is something that you would really want to, if you're into creating plays in a lab and stuff like that, this is something that you really want to, take a look at. So if you guys have any questions or anything like that, please put them in the chat there, and we'll answer anything that you have. We've been, as I mentioned, I've been working on this solution here, which is what I'm calling it, a software solution. But we've been working on this so we can migrate to the game, and we're pretty much 80% there, and we just have to put some nuances in the game that from the simulator. And we have a lot of things like the weather conditions, random events, and all kinds of things that I've talked about in the past. Uh, One being well, obviously the customization is there, but we also want to, when we put out the game, we want to be able to make these customized stadiums. And so, as you can see up on the screen here, you can decorate the stadiums in about about 4 to 6 different areas of both of the end zones. You have two quarter fields, and then you have the middle of the field, as you can see up on the screen right now. How the decoration goes. You can actually import your own logos here on the decorating the field as well. So that makes for some interesting dynamics of field decoration. But we want to take it one step further. We want to be able to have it where you can actually go in and build your own stadium like you would in a Sims game or something like that, where you can build your own house, you can build your own environment. And we want to be able to do that in this football game, the video game, when it comes up. And as you can see there on the screen, that we also have the baseball configuration fields in there, and we're going to have more of that when we get to the game. And that's going to make for some really good replayability, and a lot of that, keep you coming back for more enhancement to the game. We want, the goal of all of this is to be able to get in there and have a game where you not only have fun playing it, but you want to play it over and over and over again. Now, this is as I mentioned before, this is not like a joystick game or anything like that. This is a game that you play with your mind, and it is a strategy-based game. So if you like statistics and strategy and probabilities and clutch situations and things like that, this is going to be the game for you because that is what this whole game is about. It's almost like it's an RPG type game, but it's football. So think of it like that because we're going to have some nuances in here that are going to be germane to football, but it's going to be looking like something that you would play like in Dungeons and Dragons maybe, or Lord of the Rings or something like that. That kind of flavor, but it's going to be football. And that's exactly what I wanted to do, and that was the whole goal of this, was to go ahead and have something that was different than the normal football video games that you see out there. And that's where ours is going to differ. And so when you when you see that, that's going to be something that um, it's going to make for a lot of replayability, and that's the goal of this. And in the simulator also, what we have, and again, when I say simulator and talk about the game, they're kind of synonymous because a lot of the things that you're going to be able to do in the simulator, you're going to be able to do in the game. With the one exception, the one exception is going to be where you won't have the I want to say you won't have the telestrator in there, and the telestrator is actually where you can bring actual live video into the simulator, and then you can mark it up and save the images, so you can actually show players, hey, you should have gone over here, you should have hit that hole, or you should have ran around that end to make that tackle, and so on. So that's going to be a lot of fun too with the telestrator implemented into the simulator. However, in the game, it's not going to be necessary to have that in the game, so we won't have a telestrator in the game at all. So we will be doing a lot of quite a few things with the simulator and the game as well to make it better. It's all AI driven right now on the defensive side of the ball, but we want to add the routes for the defense as well, and we're working on that now to add the routes, the drawing of routes and everything for the defense, just like we do for the offense, and that's going to come in another iteration. So, we have some really good things that we're doing going forward, and I believe that it's going to make for some interesting gameplay because the way the AI is set up right now is that it's not all going to be the AI is not all going to be driven off of predictability. There's a lot of unpredictability in the AI as it is, and I want to keep things like that, and I want to keep things that so we have some kind of randomness as well to this solution. This is good for the simulator and the game, but even more so for the simulator because when coaches are trying out plays and they're wondering how they would perform against a certain offense or a certain defense, they can get that kind of probability and they can get that kind of idea of how things are going to work by just, you know, drawing the play up and then running up against, let's say, a 4-3 or, any kind of defense that you may want to put in there, blitzes, all kinds of blitzes and different types of formations on the defense and even on the offense. You can put these up against different types of defensive and offensive plays and see how they're going to perform in a lab. So that's a pretty good thing that we have there going on with that too. So if you guys have any questions, please put them through. And if you can hear me, please let me know. If you can't, if some of you are having issues hearing me or anything like that, let me know. Um, so we will do that. So what you're looking at right now on the screen is the interface for the football history simulator. It's pretty easy. I mean, you have basically 5 buttons there, but within those 5 buttons, you can do quite a bit. You can modify, delete formations, and modify and delete plays. You can design different types of plays. And one other thing I wanted to mention here too is that you can actually design special teams plays too. So with this simulator, unlike a lot of other simulators, even the most popular ones, they don't give you the ability to design special teams plays, and that's an integral part of the game. So we want people to be able to design um, the special teams plays too. And I want to take a minute, if you guys are looking at us on YouTube, please go out and like and subscribe to our channel. We're going to have a lot of content in here that's going to deal with the football video game as well as the football coaching simulator. We've got our website out there, which is www.javaprints.com. Please go out and visit us there. We're going to eventually have that site turn into an e-commerce site where we're going to sell coaching tools like call sheet templates and tournament templates, how you can actually make tournaments up with, and league schedulers and everything that coaches and administrators for football groups can use, even in the youth level. And speaking of the youth level, this simulator is perfect for the youth level because it'll show kids how to run, how plays should be run, and show them where they need to go. And also, it'll show it to them in a language that they can easily understand because a lot of kids play the video games. A lot of them play popular games like Madden and stuff like that. And this will have some of the look and feel of that and give the kids something that they're more familiar with, and it's a good teaching tool for them. As you can see up on the screen there, we have 10 camera angles, and 5 for the defense and 5 for the offense, so you can see things from the defensive perspective as well as the offensive perspective. You also have the red button up there, the 05X button. That's a half speed, where you can run plays at half speed. You can, which is more the slow motion, and then you can run plays at full speed too, which is really nice. So if you want to slow things down, so a player can understand the play a little bit more, you can do that. You can also scroll the mouse wheel when you're in 2D, a little closer view in, so you can see where how the play is, how it develops, and what it would take to stop it, what it would take to you know be successful at the play as well too. So um, we got a lot of that going on as well with this. So this is beautiful for that. These fields are scaled to real world specs, and so it's the actual field of the American field. And speaking of that, we're going to have we already built the Canadian football version of this, and we've also built an indoor football version of this. And yes, we're going to have those kind of things in the game too. So we're going to have the indoor, which some of you have seen. We've got videos out there right now on the different styles of play that we have. We do have a Canadian field, which has the 20-yard end zones in it and everything, and we do have the arena or the indoor football layout as well too. So that's out there, and so we'll be able to. Those are all real-world replicated fields. So we're going to make a simulator for each one of those, which is already again made. But we're also going to have those in the game. So our goal is to have all 3 styles of play within our video game when it comes out, because we do actually have those 3 styles of play completed. We wanted to get the American version out first since it's more the popular one, and then we will release the other simulators for the other 2 styles of play, indoor and Canadian, and then we're going to do Uh, our goal is to have all three styles in our video game, so you'll have three styles of the way you play. We also have another game that that we want to slide in there as well, and I don't know if we're going to get that in there, but it's the dynamic football game, and that has different rules. It's a game that I made up that has different rules. The field is a little different, different size field and everything. So um, I want to have that in there too if I can, but we don't really, as I mentioned in other videos, we don't want to boil the ocean with this. We want to make sure that we take things slow and methodical and make sure that we actually put the things in there at a slow pace to make sure everything works and to make sure that we keep the quality of what we're doing. And that's really the goal of all of this. Um, so going to see if you guys have any more questions at all too. Okay. Okay. So, um, again, we want to thank everybody for coming out and spending some time with us. And we wanted to make sure that you guys know about what we're doing. Again, our website is javaprints, JAVAPRINTZ, as in zebra.com. I want you guys to go out there and if you can also get to the Steam store from there as well. We are on Steam. We're in the educational category for this release. And if you can if you don't see us when you go right out there, just type in football history and it'll come up in the search engine in Steam, and then you can go in there and buy the game. Again, the game, not the game, but the simulator. Simulator is $39.99. It's a coaching simulator, and it's a very good value for what you're getting in the simulator. And when we put the game out, it's going to have a lot of the same dynamics, but even a little bit more that we're going to add in there. So we're going to have again, different stadiums that we want to have where you can build those stadiums yourself. Just like we did the customization here with the simulator, we wanted to do that with the game as well. So you won't need to in the game. You won't need to have to worry about like the reason why we call it football history is because it's got some historic elements to it. Because with the as you'll see in the simulator, you'll be able to make leather helmet teams back from the 1920s. You'll also be able to make 1950s, 1960s teams with no face mask on or anything like that. And as you can see, that was up on the screen there, you can build teams. If you bought the simulator, you build teams in there. You got to see the home and away. If you build teams within the simulator, you'll be able to import those teams into the video game. We've got this set up so when you build a team within the video game, you can actually, or within the simulator, you'll actually be able to import those teams into the video game as well. And the way we have that worked out is that you have once the teams are built, the teams are packaged, and this is built with the Unity engine, and the teams are packaged up. And what you can do is, with those teams being packaged up, unlike the simulator, in the game you're going to have the home, away, and you'll have an alternate uniform, and then you'll have your stadium. Those four things will be packed within, wrapped in what's called a Json file. And each team, when you build your team, you'll build it with the stadium, and you'll build it with the three uniforms if you choose to. You don't have to have three uniforms, but I find a lot of people will probably be creating color splash uniforms and stuff like that. Um, and they may want to have the flexibility to do that. Even if you got this just to create uniforms, that's going to be fun because just being able to create the uniforms is going to be a nice addition too. Um, a lot of people just like to create uniforms, football uniforms, and just see how they're displayed on the field. Some people just like to do that. They may not even get this to run plays or run formations, so it's perfect for that because they're easy to make. They're not difficult to make at all. It doesn't take a whole lot to make these uniforms and that. So you know, that's another thing that you can do there. And that's a very good feature of this is, as you can see here on the screen, those are the JSON files there on the screen, and that gives you the ability to import and export the teams that you have. We're also working on a situation where you can actually have the playbook, and we'll have it where you can print the playbooks out into PDF. Currently, you can't do that, but we will have it where you'll be able to um, print the playbooks out in as PDFs or actually print them to PDF files. So that's one of the things that we're working on. We also, as I mentioned, when we put the e-commerce part of our website, when it comes up, we're going to have it where you're going to have all kinds of tools on there that you can use, like spreadsheets, different types of call sheet spreadsheets. And one thing that's going to be really nice with this, and I didn't mention this in any other video, but we're going to do it here. Hey Willie, how you doing? Nice to see you. Is we're going to have in there the call sheet wristband. It's a unique feature that we're going to have in there. It's going to be really sweet, where a wristband will come up and you can pick an audible off of that wristband, which is going to be nice. It's going to be a different way of calling audibles within the video game. So there's a lot of things like that that I'm doing in with this game and the simulator that hasn't been done in a lot of games. So there's going to be some things that people are going to really enjoy about this that's not traditional. And because I'm not, I like traditional to a degree, but I want something different. I want something different that people are gonna, from seeing the same old thing all over and over again, gets kind of boring and mundane. So I want to have it where you're experiencing something different, or you're creating your own experience. That is the goal of this simulator, as well as with the game, is where people can create their own experience. Not so much that it's going to be the same game playing the same way all the time, which is why we're starting slow with the animations now, but we have a ton of them. There's quite a few animations that we do have. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to pick and choose how I should use these and when I should use these, so it's not the same old experience over and over and over and over again. And so that's one of the reasons why, it's taking some time. And when I started this journey, it was more or less, hey, let's make a football game and make it similar to Madden. And then I started thinking, well, is that really what you want? And who wants to have another poor man's version of Madden? Because there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of games out there that are trying to simulate what Madden does, and they're falling short, in my opinion. I mean, I think a lot of people want something new, like another arcade type game like that, because they're sick of Madden because it's the only thing out there, but it's one of the best things out there. And I don't care what anybody says, it's a really good game. But I think people just want something different, so they're gravitating to this and gravitating to that. But what we're going to give is a real good experience, something really different than Madden or anything else out there. That's my goal with this, because people have done this arcade type thing over and over and over again. But in the strategy football community, and the tactical, I should say, tactical football community, like you take soccer, which is like Football Manager, which is a very good, addicting game. But we're going to take it farther than that. We're going to go to a situation where we will have, the football manager type thing, but it won't be so mundane where you're just clicking and clicking and clicking and clicking and clicking. It's going to be, yeah, you're clicking, getting a result, but the result's going to play out for you in 3D, and you're not going to have total control over the end result. So you're going to have to manage through the way the game is played. And for instance, I look at again a coach like Mike Tomlin, and I'm not a Steelers fan by any stretch of the imagination. I know my wife is gonna; she's a Bengals fan. I'm a Cowboys and Browns fan. But what I do like about Mike Tomlin is he knows how to coach. With minimal talent, he can take a team to the playoffs and put them in contention every single year. Never had a losing season. That's the kind of thing that I want to create for players that play this game. I want to create a sense of you're playing the game and you're managing through situations. You're being rewarded for managing through those situations. And also you'll have a situation where, maybe you don't manage through it for whatever reason, but you learn something from it. So the next time you get into the game, and at your next game, you manage that situation a little bit better. And that gives you a better experience than just, oh, I beat the AI. The AI is running. I know that the AI runs over here to the left when I go to the right. And if I switch back over real quick, then I can return the punt every time for a touchdown. Well, we know that, it doesn't work like that in real life. And if you want to emulate something like the real life, or you want to have that kind of experience, then you're managing through situations. You're not putting a whole bunch of players on the field that are all just because those players are all rated, let's say a 99, whatever that means. And that's another thing. Ratings are just, I think, are just I don't know how to say this, but I look at ratings as just a sales pitch to sell games and everything, because it's management of a game is what wins games. Not so much this guy is rated a 99 and he's going to perform like a 99 all the time, because in real life that doesn't really happen. And so we want to take that to another level where there's more thinking involved, and players get tired even if they're a 99 or they're a high rated player. They're not always going to perform sometimes for whatever reason. It might be a situation where they just slip and fall, or it could be a lot of different things that factor into a game. Ratings, they don't play games on paper unless you're playing a board game. And that's what I wanted to take from the board game community and say, all right, we're going to play a board game, but we're going to put variables in there that you have to manage through. It's not just about the statistics. We're going to have that, but it's not just about the statistics. It's not just, I'm rated a 10, you're rated a 5, therefore I'm better than you. Well, that doesn't always happen in real life. And so we want to create those variations that make people keep coming back and coming back and coming back. And that's the vision that I have for this whole the game. It's not going to be like everybody else's game, and I don't care. I want it to be different. I want it to be challenging. I want it to be, a situation where it doesn't play the same all the time, and it's not predictable all the time. And that's the kind of game that I want to create. And that's the kind of thing that I've been really looking to create this whole time with the this vision that I have for this whole game. I didn't want it to be the same thing all over again and play the same all over again. So I wanted the variation, and that's the reason why we're doing this, and I want it to be different. So I hope you guys can, those of you who like this type of thing will gravitate to this. Those of you who want the same arcade-ish type game where you see things happen in it. I mean, you're going to have things that are going to happen in here, and I won't give a lot of that away. But there's going to be some randomness in here and things that are going to happen. But it's not going to be like, you know, arcadey. And that's one thing I don't want to have. I have nothing against that. If that's what you like, that's what you like. But I don't want that for my game. And I want, people that are like-minded, like myself, that love this kind of stuff. They want the statistical elements and the challenge of that, but they also want to see the graphics. I mean, I like to see the graphics too. That's one thing that I didn't like about playing board games, and I'm a big Stratomatic and APBA football and fan and everything like that. But I had to use my imagination to see that play. Well, with this, you don't have to just see what you see up the screen there, just dots or uh, X's and O's moving around. You can actually go to something like this and you can watch it play out. I remember one developer I was working with, he was saying something like, "Why don't you just do dots and squares and stuff like that?" I said, "Well, that's everybody does that. You see that in a lot of these football management games and everything." I said, "But why can't I have, the visuals? I mean, why does it have to be just like that? Why does it have to be just, squares and everything on the field? That's good for diagramming plays, and that's what I wanted this for. But I wanted this. I wanted to be able to." And I wanted it to look good. I want graphically pleasing. I didn't want it to. That's why we've gone through about 20 player models. And I want to say this on these player models too. You don't see it here, but you'll see it in the game. But these player models have morph targets on them, so we already have things like that built in where we can make the players bigger, we can make them taller, we can make them fatter, we can make them skinnier. That's already built into this. I did a lot of work on the front end to build things like this into the game, into the simulator, so when we get ready to release a game or make a video game, all of this stuff is already done. The only thing we have to do now is pretty much add a stats engine, throw in our weather effects, which are already there, and then any other elements that we want to put in there. Injuries, we even have animations for injuries and stuff like that. So we're pretty much set to, to do what we need to do with that. And as you've seen on the screen there, we do have the 3D or the 2D where you can the X's and O's and everything, but we also have this. We have the 3D and the animations for that. This is a slow motion play. As you can see, what the player did there is, and that's I paid attention to this and designed a lot of the AI. So if a player is running in a gap in a hole that's already there, but let's say that hole closes up for some reason, if that hole closes up for some reason, that player has the logic built inside of him to actually run in a different direction. I also want to say this too. This is something that I actually had thought about some years ago, and I did an interview video on this, and it was having women football players in there. Not the women football players that are they're like in those skimpy little leagues or something like that. I'm talking about women players that look like this that you see on the screen, but they're women. They have women's hair, women's bodies, and all of that other stuff because women play football too. And I think that they haven't been represented in this at all. And that's one thing that we're going to do when we start playing with the game, things like that. We're going to have women players. We're going to have the women football players in there, and I'm looking forward to that. So we're not going to have any limits here with what we're doing. I mean, uh, I get this question a lot, you know, from people about, what we're going to do um, with, how we're going to put this together. And a lot of people, they want us to do these Madden-ish type games, you know. I get that a lot. I get that quite a lot. And it just at some point, um, it just makes you just cringe. And I just want to do something different. I don't want to do the same thing that everybody's doing. And they say, if you are doing something different, you're probably right in what you're doing, because um, it's easy to do what everybody else is doing, and it's easy to go that route. But um, I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. I want to do something that has never been done before, and to do that, sometimes you have to do what you've never did, and that's what we're doing here. We're doing something that's never been done before, and I'm going to keep at that. And that's one thing that you're going to get from me, everybody that sees what we're doing, and really appreciates it, you know, you're going to get something different, and you're going to get something that's going to be fun. I used to make games back in the day for my friends when we played things like electric football, and I made this football game back in the day with cards and almost like a Stratomatic and stuff like that. I made up my own ratings and all kinds of stuff. It was pretty funny. And this is a game that I had made up back before, video games was really kind of popular. But I made this game up, and about four of my friends and I would sit there and play this game for hours. And it was a football. I made a football version and I made a baseball version where we could make these different stadiums, out of cardboard and everything. It was kind of funny. And then we would have our own little stadiums that we would play in. And then if you rolled the dice a certain way and it came up with a certain number, it would be a home run, but it may not be a home run in this other stadium. And so it was pretty fun. And my friends and I would play that, for hours. And one of them actually on Facebook, he reminded me. He said, you used to make these games that were fun to play, and you should put that into your video game. And shout out to Tommy Boone. I want to say that, a good friend of mine, and for actually telling me about that. So I kind of went back to some of the things that I used to like as a kid, a teenager, college student, whatever. And so I've actually been at this a lot longer than just, even though I'm a new developer, I've been actually at this for years. And so I always wanted something like this. When I started playing video games and started playing Madden and things like that, I wanted something like this, where it was strategy based, almost like chess, and that's what I wanted. And so that's what I set out to create, and I'm glad that I went ahead and did this. It took me, 6 or 7 years to build this, but there was a lot of things involved, running into bad developers, run into a lot of challenges. Had a lot of challenges in making this. And just to have it where it is right now and see it come to fruition, and this was just on a piece of paper, is really exhilarating for me. I mean, and now our future, what we're going to do is take this even further. So this is just the beginning, and I know that to some people it may not be much, but it's everything to me because I've seen it come from something so small and so minuscule to what it is right now. And to just stay with it for that long lets me know that if I can do that, then I can pretty much do anything. And this isn't the only game that we're going to make, but this is going to be our flagship game, and this is going to get us it started into take us to make other games. But we are. This is going to be this is going to be something that is going to be here long after I'm gone. Which is pretty neat. So who knows, somebody might take it over and make it even better, So, but we're going to make it really nice now, and we're going to stick at this, for a long time. And I want people to know that, we are focusing on the quality, and we're going to create more content. One thing I want to say before I go too is that we're going to put out some merchandise for this game as well. So we're going to have hats and T-shirts and other paraphernalia that we're going to have out there for this game. And now that we've launched it and everything, launched the I should say the simulator, we're going to have some we're going to do some giveaways too. When we launch the game, we're going to do some giveaways with hats and jackets and stuff like that. I've already got a plan laid out for this whole thing of how it's going to go. So, um, you know, we feel like right now that I know I do. I feel like I'm on an island sometimes, and that's good because there's a lot of good things that are going to come off of that island. Just because we may not get the notoriety that a lot of games do or a lot of people do, but I know that we're making something special, and I know that there's a lot of people watching that will not say anything in regards to that, but I know that it's there because I can see it. I can see it and I can feel it. And with that being said, I'm going to check on out of here. Don't forget to go to our website, www.javaprints.com, and I want you to go out there and you can get to our Steam store by hitting the buy button there, or you can go out to Steam and then you can put in football history and you can find us that way as well. And I'd like everybody to like and subscribe this video, and just like and subscribe to the channel in general. We're going to be doing some great things here in the future, and we look forward to all of you, and all of you that are subscribers. We want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts that you've subscribed with us, and you're rocking with us because. This wasn't an easy thing to do, but and there's not a lot of people doing it, and that's why you see a lot of people talk about making games or especially making football games. They talk about it, talk about it, talk about it, but very few have actually pushed that envelope to bringing it to fruition. And I didn't want to be one of those ones to not actually put something out that I said I was going to do. I've done exactly what I said I was going to do, and now we're going to take it to the next level. So if you guys don't have any other questions, I am going to check on out of here. This has been great. Great talking to you guys, and I really appreciate you giving me the pleasure of your time today. And you take care, and we will see you soon.